Hello and welcome. I'm Bhagat. You're with the Mojo Story, the digital platform that has relentlessly committed itself to the coverage of COVID 19 through the past 15 months from the ground and across India. This is an inflection point for this nation. There isn't a home and isn't a family I know who has not suffered personal bereavement. In a week when I lost my own father to COVID, I have lost count of the number of people who have similar tragedies to share. And I start this program today with the heartbreaking story of a young girl called Himanshi, who shared with us her father's last WhatsApp message to her, and her father died because of a shortage of oxygen. From one daughter who's lost her father to another, this is Himanshi's story.
चले गए और क्यों चले गए, इनका ऑक्सीजन फ्लक्चुएशन हुआ। वो 15 लीटर पर मिनट पे थे इनके पाइप पे, जिसकी वजह से मैंने यहाँ कराया था। ऑक्सीजन फ्लक्चुएट हुआ, इनके पास ऑक्सीजन नहीं था, कार्डियक अरेस्ट हुआ, मेरे पापा मर गए।
हमने बात किया इन लोगों से तो बोल रहे हैं हमारे पास 2 घंटे का
मर गए।
मैं ऊपर गया हूँ भैया, मैं ऊपर गया हूँ, मैंने ऊपर जाके देखा 30 चल रहा था। मेरी गाड़ी में सिलेंडर पड़े हैं, ये देखो, ये देखो, एक नहीं दो सिलेंडर पड़े हैं। ये देखो सिलेंडर, देखो मैंने सिलेंडर दिया ऊपर जाके, तब भी नहीं बचा पाए। ये बातें कर रहे हैं
बेसिक ऑक्सीजन की
कमी की वजह से।
मेरे पापा व्हाट्सएप है, उनका मैसेज आया है कि नन्नू ऑक्सीजन यहाँ खत्म हो गई है। मैंने बोला पापा फिक्र मत करो, मेरी मम्मी एलएनजे में, हम भागे कि ऑक्सीजन जुगाड़ करेंगे। यहाँ आके नीचे बोल रहे हैं कि ऑक्सीजन है, और ऊपर पापा
यहाँ नीचे बोला इन्होंने कि ऑक्सीजन है, ऑक्सीजन है। मुझे लगा कुछ करा था, मैं ऊपर भाग के गया हूँ, मैंने अपना सिलेंडर दिया, ऊपर जाके देखा तो मैनुअली पंप कर रहे थे।
भैया
और आपके पापा का मैसेज आप दिखाएंगे मुझे व्हाट्सएप?
क्या देखोगे बताओ, क्या है, कहाँ है? पापा पापा देखो, लास्ट है। मैंने बोला ओके पापा दो, मैं भेज रही हूँ आपको, नारियल पानी या कुछ और भेजूँ या पड़ा है? पापा ने बोला नहीं। मेरी बहन ने बोला पापा कितना पानी पिया है? फिर उनका है यहाँ ऑक्सीजन प्रॉब्लम है पूरे हॉस्पिटल में, शायद ख़त्म हो गई। मैंने बोला 3 बजे कमिंग। उसको बाद हमने पापा को मैसेज कर रहे हैं, पापा आपको मिल रही है, पापा आपको ऑक्सीजन मिलेगी, सीईओ से बात हुई है, उड़ू की बात हुई है, पापा कहाँ हो? पापा चले। आप बताओ मैं क्या करूँ अपने पापा के लिए?
So these are the questions to which there are no answers. What do you say to a daughter who's lost her father because the oxygen supply at the hospital ran out? What do you say about the fact that patients are now carrying oxygen cylinders packed with tiffin boxes as they walk into hospitals? What do you say about the fact that we're now a country with oxygen langars at our gurdwaras? In the middle of all this, many things through this past month have been absolutely bizarre, like the continuation of the IPL in a bubble of its own. Well, that's finally changing as the bubble gets literally and metaphorically broken. Let's bring up those pictures to bring you this news. The IPL has been suspended indefinitely. Many people have objected to its tone-deaf quality, but now the bubble has been breached with positive cases being reported from that bubble and that cricket tournament being suspended for at least the foreseeable future. Not many are going to miss it, though there has been a debate as to whether it was made a soft target, because unlike election rallies, it is at least not physically dangerous for the spread of the virus. Talking about that, these are the images that continue to have come out of India's most populous state, Uttar Pradesh, in the last couple of days. Remember, Bengal voted, so did other states, but local elections in Uttar Pradesh were never paused. And these are the pictures that you saw of people crowding around. We'll play those pictures for you in just a moment. People crowding around, milling around. We have not even seen COVID appropriate behavior in Uttar Pradesh on the ground. I'm not sure why we're actually not playing those pictures. Let me bring those pictures up for you in just a moment as soon as we're ready. But in the meantime, let me introduce our guest on the show today. We've got author, former banker, somebody who understands data very well, Chetan Bhagat, who's on the program with us. Chetan, welcome. These are depressing times to be talking in, and we'll play those pictures from Uttar Pradesh for you in just a moment. But I'm sure you've seen them, the crowding around, the fact that this bizarreness is carrying on. Now, one of the things that really struck me, about what you saw, there are the UP pictures you could see. This is still carrying on. I mean, this is just carrying on. This is in the last couple of days as the carnage is going through our country. But Chetan, you've been trying to be prosaic. Sometimes you've made the point that it's important to be prosaic. You have said we don't need a Bollywood movie, we don't need big drama, we don't need we don't need big ticket things. We just need mundane, dependable, assurable, reliable, and that we need vaccines. But Chetan, and I'll show you some data in a while to show you that you might be wrong. We might be too late for the vaccines out of this second wave. So I just want to start with your overall picture, and because I've been going through some of your tweets.
Yeah, firstly, Barkha, I'm really sorry for your loss. I myself have had people in the extended family who passed away. I have people in my family who are in hospital right now. And like you said, nobody has been left untouched by this. And it's one miserable story after the other, and you feel like how much can you have to protect yourself, and how much can you even take its testing, all of us. So, but I think some of us need to discuss hard data. Some of us need to discuss. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Please carry on.
Okay. I think you. Yeah. Sorry, I think you go mute. Okay. Yeah. So yes, and I think it is important to understand firstly that some of this might have been unavoidable, but some of this was clearly avoidable. And even though it doesn't make the misery any better by me saying it, and I'm not saying it to say like I told you so or things like that, but let us first understand why we are in this situation today and why we could have avoided some of it. And I am not going to give examples of mistakes by hindsight. There are mistakes by hindsight. Okay, maybe the lockdown that was initially done, it kind of made some sense, but now that you look back at the misery, that it kind of feels like, okay, it was too draconian. Hindsight. Those are hindsight mistakes. That's not what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about something which is clearly avoidable, which is this second wave and the misery this second wave is creating. Maybe we couldn't have avoided the second wave, but the misery could have been much less. And I'll tell you why. Because we have a vaccine now. We didn't have it last year. India has been hit by a bad second wave, but luckily, and we didn't convert that luck, it came in March of 2021 when the vaccine, many vaccines were approved and existed in this world. So how could we have avoided it? In January of 2020, and the dates are important, and I'll give you one example. BioNTech, one company started making a vaccine. And in March 2020, a company called Fosun Pharma of China put 135 million, which is around 1,000 crores, in BioNTech to kind of take a bet on the vaccine, to kind of make sure they had the license if the vaccine got approved and they can give it in China. And that is what they are using there actually today. In April of 2020, this is 2020. In April of 2020, Pfizer put 150 million. That's why Pfizer BioNTech vaccine is known as such. In June 2020, European Commission put money in it. In September 2020, Germany put 500 million in that same vaccine. I'm not advocating the Pfizer vaccine. I'm saying all the vaccines, Moderna, all the vaccines have the same story. People partnered up, Europe, US, China, they all partnered up in this March to September time. And therefore, once the vaccine became available, they had enough of it and they can easily distribute it. Now, what were we doing at that time? Okay. In March, we were banging plates. In April, we were doing, I think, if I'm not wrong, in June, we were doing Sushant, right?
Yeah.
We were doing, so in March, April was the plates time. June, we were doing Sushant. In September, we were interested in which Bollywood star smokes weed. This is not funny. This is actually what the top headline was. This is what was shaking the nation every night. This is when all over the world, people were putting money in these vaccines and securing supply. We did not. By dumb luck, by pure dumb luck, Serum Institute had a deal with AstraZeneca, not to develop the vaccine, but just to manufacture it, 1 billion doses for them. So Serum Institute of Pune, which is a private entity, with Adar Poonawala, he had a deal with them that, okay, I'll make 1 billion vaccines for you, but a little bit of that is for India, around 10%. That is the only deal that was done by a private Indian company, a bet he took. And the few Indians that have got the vaccine, most of them are getting that vaccine because of that deal, which was pure dumb luck. We did not, as in India did not fund any, collaborate with any of the foreign vaccine developments. India did not come up to Serum and say, you know what, you're making 1 billion for them, make 1 billion for us too. We did not do all that. This is in 2020. This is not when the COVID had started coming down. Diwali, we had record cases. This is all happening at that time, but we did not care because we feel, औरों को बनाने दो, कुछ ना कुछ तो जुगाड़ हो ही जाएगा, because इंडिया में कुछ ना कुछ जुगाड़ हो ही जाता है. That's the mentality, and we did not pay attention to it. In December, vaccine started getting approved. Everybody started getting it. Pfizer came to India.
Yeah.
Pfizer came to India and applied for the approval. But what did we do? We gave them a long list of homework to do. Ye karo, wo karo, ye karo, wo karo. Now you can say it was justified, but we knew that Europe has approved this vaccine. We knew the US has approved this vaccine, and they are actually using it on the public by then. But it was still, because हमें तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं, we gave them so much work to do that in February, Pfizer said, you know what? We don't need the approval. We are out of here. Now you can say that I am advocating Pfizer. I'm giving you one example. I can give you examples of Moderna. Even AstraZeneca, we did not do a deal with them. Serum did for a manufacturing deal, and a tiny portion they kept for us. Luckily, some of our senior citizens have got that vaccine now.
Yeah. So what do you think happened? What do you think happened? Do you think it was jugaad?
Didn't take it seriously.
Do you think it was denial? Do you think we got hung up on Swadeshi kind of jingoism ki Bharat ki bani hui honi chahiye?
We don't believe in science. We think science is what was in the Vedas and what is in the history, and that is science. Whereas science, having a scientific mind by definition, is saying that we do not know. We need to discover. We need to find out. And therefore, if 7 guys all over the world, the top pharma companies of the world, are researching a vaccine, we need to partner up with all of them, because we don't know, and we need to respect them for the work they have done, rather than saying they're all capitalist, greedy monsters. We don't understand capital. We don't understand science. And that's what was needed to be a part of these big vaccines. And then by the time December came along and people are coming to us with approvals, we got into the Swadeshi mode. It is not enough, Barkha, to have your own vaccine. It's okay. We have a decent vaccine. Yes, it's a good vaccine. But that's like saying you have a marriage in the house, but you say, I'm not going to hire a caterer because my mother can make really good rotis.
Yeah.
And how dare you question my mother? And that caterer, he's a profit-making, money-making guy. He doesn't make it with so much love. We will make. Okay, fine. Your mother can make 10 rotis in the kitchen. We have 1,000 guests. So you need a caterer. Now, in the marriage example, the guests only go hungry. Fine. Here, people are going unvaccinated. They're getting sick. They're dying.
Yeah. And
in such big numbers that our healthcare system has collapsed, something very basic like oxygen is not there. So we need, everybody knows this. I mean, I'm not a big, you introduced me as somebody who understands data very well. It's not that complicated. We have 140 crore people. We need to vaccinate or be ready to vaccinate around 100 crore, which means we need 200 crore doses. 200 crore doses. Serum gave us around 10. Just last week, the government has given an order for 15, 20 more, which is an order which we've not got. And even that, if you combine, it's 20 crore doses. It's not close to 200. So how is serum going to, how is, your mother going to cook for the whole wedding? How is Covaxin? It's such a tiny player, Bharat Biotech, that they can, I don't know, maybe make 30 crores in a year, which is 7% of what we need. We need 3 months में 200. They can make slowly. Now we have just sent them some money now after so much pressure, and that is actually, I first thought, what is the point of me saying all this? You only get trolled. People love defending. Some people love defending, India and everything so much that they won't even listen to sense. But I think voices need to tell the basic facts. We need 200 crore doses. Your mom is not going to be able to make it. She may be amazing.
Yeah.
You will need everything, and now we need these vaccines. We have the money to pay for them, because the cost of a lockdown, the cost of people getting sick, the cost of death is of course incalculable, but the cost of lockdowns alone is so much that even the best vaccine,
Yeah.
2 billion doses, right? 200 crores, 2 billion. The best vaccine, Pfizer or something, I'm not saying Pfizer, take Moderna, take whatever, is $15. They'll give you a dose. Not tomorrow. This not, obviously, you'll have to go start booking it. That's $30 billion. 2 times 50. That's okay. We have some 580 billion of reserves. I mean, what are these reserves for? When does the country need? So we need to keep putting the pressure on this, because if we don't vaccinate, we'll keep having cases. If we keep having cases, they will keep ending up in the hospital. So oxygen and all are firefighting, but the core is a vaccination program where the numbers are not adding up.
But the problem now, Chetan, is that we may be too late for vaccines are the only answer in the medium to long term. But we may be too late for the vaccine to get us out of the second wave. And I'm going to play for you a clip of one of India's top virologists, Shahid Jamil, on the shambolic pace of our vaccine rollout, because we simply don't have enough vaccines. Can we please play Shahid Jamil on our vaccine rollout? Dr. Jamil, you've now long been saying India has lost the plot. When you see juxtapose the oxygen shortage deaths with the fact that there are no vaccines even for scheduled second doses, what is the purpose of this vaccine rollout? The vaccine rollout program seems to lie in tatters at this point.
Well, Barkha, a vaccine in a pandemic is supposed to save lives and to cut short the pandemic. When we started rolling out vaccines, the program was good because it wanted to protect healthcare workers, frontline workers, and also people above 60, where mortality is the highest. Unfortunately, there was a time when we were on a downward slope, and right around that time, there was also concerns about blood clots in Europe. So that led to a lot of vaccine hesitancy, and people who should have been vaccinated at that point did not take the vaccine. Only about 50% people actually did. So now suddenly there is all this rush for people going to get vaccines. In the backdrop of this, of course, there have been concerns about vaccine supplies from the back end, which is entirely something that the government should have planned. And we knew ahead of time how many doses we will need by what date. So today, actually, the situation is that if India wants to vaccinate everyone above 18 during this year, we will need to roll out 75 lakh doses every day. That's the calculation.
And we're close to 25 lakhs and it's lagging.
We are close to about 25 lakhs on a 7-day moving average right now. We've gone up to 40. We've never gone beyond 40, 42 on any single day. So it's really a tall task. The supply chain issue becomes a very big issue. And I'm sure you will talk about it on this show, the state versus private versus center. This has complicated things immensely. I mean, India is a country that has a lot of complications on a daily basis. So any solutions to India's complexities have to be simple solutions. The solutions cannot be equally complex. Otherwise, it just amplifies. And this is what we are seeing actually right now.
And of course, questions will be raised as to why, caught up in this business of creating a Swadeshi vaccine, the clearances that we have now given to the foreign-made vaccines we did not do 2 months ago. Had we done that, had we just given Maharashtra the vaccines it asked for in the beginning, we would not be in this position, Dr. Jamil.
Well, I do agree, and some amount of vaccine supply planning was needed. I mean, I don't really care about this vaccine made in India, vaccine made outside. A vaccine is a vaccine. And the purpose of the vaccine really is to protect people.
Yeah.
If you're not able to protect people, how good is a vaccine made in the country or made outside the country? The bottom line is that you have to protect people, you have to save lives. And by the way, if we think that we are going to control the second surge with the vaccine, I think we are sadly mistaken. The time for that is over.
So are you saying the second surge is something we just have to live through and bear the loss,
Yes,
and carry
absolutely.
the cross?
I mean, look at it logically, Barkha. If somebody starts getting the vaccine today, that person will be fully protected in 6 to 8 weeks. That person will not be protected tomorrow. So to cut transmission, to reduce the impact of this wave, you need time from a vaccine perspective. What the vaccine will do if taken now is to reduce the magnitude of the third wave, postpone the third wave, all of that. So vaccine is for the future. The time to take a vaccine to avert the second wave or reduce the second wave was in January, February. And sadly, we missed that. So
we're
let's
just
understand this
going to have to
clearly.
tragically lose lives through the second surge.
So the focus should really be on saving lives, on making sure that the oxygen supply chain is good, making sure that the treatments people need are available to them, the medicines are available to them. Let's not be in the false impression that vaccine rollout now is going to prevent further surge of the second wave. It's just not logical.
So I wanted to play that out for you because it's grim,
Yeah.
but it's truth telling. We're too late with the vaccines for this wave.
Yeah, we didn't do what we had to do in 2020, so we are suffering in 21. The only hope is let's do something in 21 so we don't suffer in 22. But 2021 is and will be a year where there'll be slow, and not that slow, painful deaths all around for a very long time. Unless for some reason the virus turns or whatever, I mean, unpredictable factors, we may have ebbs and flows. I mean, that may happen. And I hope that if we suppose we again have a situation where the cases drop, we don't declare victory again. I mean, the vaccine is the solution. The concept of a wave, there's no concept of a wave. It's just that a virus which can come and go anytime. And unless you vaccinate yourself, it's not going to happen. And now we are asking for foreign aid from everyone. But yet we want to do our nationalism. How can you beg from one hand and thump your chest with the other? I mean, it doesn't work. And the foreign aid is never going to be enough. You have to pay up solid to get 2 billion doses. Of course, everybody. What has the world done, Barkha? They are saying they are sorry for India. And I do agree that there is some sympathy for us, because whenever I see a BBC or a CNN, I mean, around 25% of their coverage today is on India. It is the world's biggest story right now. Yeah. But they've all shut us out. All flights are shut from the major countries. They have cut it off from India. So once they know that they are safe from India, once they know that these guys cannot bring that the cases back to us, they'll do some lip service, they'll do some politics. But at the end of the day, they've left us in our cesspool of misery, disease, bureaucracy, and arrogance. Yeah. The arrogance is still there. I mean, a lot of people are still in denial. And that is actually, I mean, astonishing in a way. Or maybe that's just Twitter, but I'm sure you've seen it. But there are people who really see this very differently from what I do. And I am not someone who's always with you, Barkha. You and I have had clashes. There are videos of ours, people of us disagreeing, and people give a lot of views to them. So it's not like, so I try to be rational, and I don't understand. What is the need
What do you
to
make of
defend?
this arrogance? Why do you think that even now the foreign minister is spending time on diplomats correcting the image of India abroad? Who the hell cares? Do the people dying at the hospital doors care about whether New York Times or Washington Post says something about Prime Minister Modi? Should Prime Minister Modi care?
I'm not going to really comment on the policy. I mean, we need to get the vaccines. People, I don't know who's empowered, but what is happening is people are trying to do what they think is their job.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they think their job is. But
Yeah.
someone needs to be empowered to buy $30 billion or $10 billion or whatever it costs worth of vaccines. It's not just money. You sometimes have to make diplomatic concessions. You have to make trade concessions. You have to cajole. You have to pull in those relationships. You have to say, okay, what do you need from India in the next 5 years? Okay, here's what we'll give you, but give us the vaccine. You give me some. You know, if you didn't book a caterer and there is a marriage, what will you do? You'll go to all the caterers in town and say, "Acha, aap 50 plate do, aap 50." I mean, it's trivial example, but I'm just saying it to explain to people. You can't say कि हमारे घर का ही बनेगा ये वो. All that is gone. We need help, and we need help on a massive scale. We need money, which we have, I think, to buy the vaccine. We have money. We have enough to offer diplomatically to many countries, and we need to I mean, there is no vaccine for humility and bad bureaucracy, but we need that too.
Explain this arrogance. What sense do you make of it? How do you understand it?
I think a lot of people in India who are fans of the government, and by fans, I mean, there are people who, it's not like I've never praised the government. I've praised the government many times. But there is a difference between pointing out where you feel something could be done differently. You can still be respectful, and I think I'm being respectful, but saying that I don't agree with your decisions. But then you have a category of people who will defend the government no matter what. And they're not just the IT cell. IT cell people say is paid and everything. There are people who really believe in the cult, who believe, because I think the imagery of the government has given them a lot of self-worth, that we are Indians, we have arrived, we are a superpower, we are so great, everybody, all the biggest leaders in the world listen to us, India will set its own terms. But when that is shattered, it's taking time for it to sink in. And unfortunately, we don't have that much time, but people are still not ready to believe that we messed it up so bad, and we are so vulnerable and helpless as a nation, that we are third world. That's why we are called third world, because we are not only less in resources, that's because we think like this. We didn't think it's okay to call the top players who are researching the vaccine and say, hey guys, I think you guys can make mRNA vaccines. That's the latest technology. We'd love to be a part of it. Can you do your trials in India? Can you take some money from us? Can we do something, collaborations? Can we give you the factories? They would have happily done it, but we don't believe in all that. We believe in something else.
But we were distributing vaccines, and we were all caught up in that moment of being the savior of the world.
Underestimating the fact that every Indian needs to be vaccinated. We probably felt we won over Corona. We don't need it. हम तो मिट्टी में खेलते हैं. Which I agree. Even I've written a column saying how India turned the, but I must say I did not praise anyone, and I, like many others, said it is confounding why this has happened. It is, we don't know. Maybe it's just dumb luck that it's happened. Because there were no reasons for it. But at that time, we didn't. 200 crores. We never saw. We thought.
So you're saying we behaved like a third world country. We just didn't even order vaccines.
We didn't believe in science. We didn't believe in putting some capital like real countries do. That it's worth paying a few dollars per person to save their lives. We thought we'll wing it. We'll do jugaad.
What explains that certain things have carried on after the evidence of the carnage on the streets has been there? Whether it's the election rallies, whether it's the local polls, whether it's the Kumbh Mela, right? All of it carried on even after it was clear that we had misread and underestimated the second wave. The picture that showed you out of UP are from 2 days ago. Right? You've seen the Prime Minister only suspended his own campaign about a week before things, got really bad, let's say in the last 10 days. So we had all of this madness carry on. How do we understand this?
Yeah. So see, we had the all-time low on cases, or not all-time low, like the low on cases in middle of February 21. So India, I remember things were, even in March, things were quite okay. I give a lot of motivational talks, which have not happened for a year and a half now because of the restrictions. But on March In March, I did an event. It was a conference. I mean, there were inquiries coming. People were doing these functions. So in March, I think the momentum had been set. Plans for rallies had been made. Plans for making the Kumbh ads had been made. There was certain logic that, like, come on, we got to live with the virus now, and we can live with it, because even if we do whatever we want, Delhi will only have 80 cases a day. So I think somewhere down the line, that March thinking carried on till April, and it took a while to unravel, and the virus spread really fast. Even 4 weeks doesn't seem like a long time to in 4 weeks the policies were overturned, but those 4 weeks were a deadly 4 weeks. And I think that's what happens with bureaucracy, that's what happens with government. It just cannot, it's not so nimble. So I think the momentum was, let's open, let's open, let's open. And then it was like, no, 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 breaks. But the breaks in the government take time. And I think that's what happened. But like I said, ordering the vaccines has nothing to do with the ups and downs. Now or before, that is a clear avoidable thing. And I don't know why we felt, maybe we didn't believe in the vaccines, maybe we felt iski zarurat nahi hai humko.
Do people have the right to? Do the people have the right to be angry? Do people have the right to ask for accountability? I asked for this because one of your tweets this morning said, and I agree with it, shelve the politics for now. Shelve the politics for now.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do with the anger on the streets of people who have nobody to talk to outside these hospitals where I meet them, where their gates are shut to them? There's no space at cremation grounds. You have someone like Sonu Sood who's had to step in and say, at least make the cremations free. We have a kind of absent state. It can be either the state governments or the union government, but there's an absent state for the majority of Indians who are out on the streets right now outside hospitals.
It's a dangerous situation because right now the anger is real. And I think the question is, who do you direct the anger on, right?
Yeah.
And when anger is irrational, anger could be directed on the medical officers, anger could be directed on bureaucrats, it could be directed politically also, we just don't know yet. But as the suffering grows, because these are daily cases, it's not like we have 4 lakh cases we have to solve. It's 4 lakh more tomorrow, 4 lakh more tomorrow. And that's just the official number. So I think it's going to come out in different ways. People are going to, the economies are obviously in a bad shape, so people are not going to be able to, get employment, make money. People are facing personal tragedies. Everybody is scared. Even if you're not sick, it's not easy to live in that kind of a way. And it's not like one day you're going to wake up and it's not going to be there, right? So it's going to lead to very, abhi to shuruaat hai, and the sentiment will go in all kinds of directions. It's really hard to predict, but I do know that there is anger. Where that anger will be directed, and obviously different people are going to try and direct the anger to different people, right? Politicians are going to direct it to different opponents, or state government, central, all that is going to happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, I agree. One of your comments, and I don't know if it was in response to this very stylized video of an Oxygen Express that was put out by Mr. Goyal on his Twitter feed. We can take a look at those pictures now. A lot of people commented on that video saying that, there was this too much effort on the production of these Oxygen Express and the kind of videos that was put out. And, it was not like some Mission Impossible video that was being put out. And you said it's not a Bollywood movie. Just give us the mundane detail right now. You want to talk about that comment?
Actually, it was not on this video. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, this is not the video. Yeah, this is not the video. In fact,
okay.
Can we come out and tell you right video? Yeah.
No, I was talking about how we said no to Pfizer and on what basis did we say no to Pfizer? There were some of my tweets and people were accusing me that I'm a Pfizer marketing person, then I don't know what marketing person are they. And people were showing me in my tweets responses pictures of a plane full of the Sputnik vaccine. Now, obviously, it looks very amazing that, wow, these plane loads of vaccines are coming. But when you read the article, which a lot of people on Twitter don't actually like to read the actual article, it said it's around 1.5 lakh doses.
Yeah.
Okay, 1.5 lakh doses seems like a lot, but like I told you, we need 200 crore doses. 200 crores versus 1.5 lakhs.
So when you said it's not a Bollywood movie, what did you mean?
If it was a movie, if you were making a Bollywood movie about, sick people and vaccine need to come, you would write in the script as a script writer that, okay, a plane load arrives and the vaccines come and there is. But I wish it was like that. the number of 200 crores cannot be captured on one camera on a one plane. That's what on a Sputnik is great we are getting, but we need every vaccine from everywhere. We need contract saying मैं इतने देता हूँ, मैं इतने देता हूँ, मैं जून में देता हूँ, मैं मई में देता हूँ. We need that. And I'm surprised the media, I'm not the one to blame the media really, but when these health conferences happen, the government does these updates. We just we are getting vaccines, we're getting vaccine, we're getting this vaccine, that. We don't talk numbers. How much? Don't we need 200 crores? Yes or no? How much do you think we need?
And how long? And how long will it take for them to
And
come?
how long will it take for it to come? How long are people supposed to keep dying?
So Adar Poonawala has said the shortages will continue through July.
That's just at his serum, which is the order we have given to him, because we've given him the order now and we've given him the money now to expand his factory. Money doesn't convert to factories, and factories don't convert through the vaccine overnight. I mean, July is actually not that far. It's actually a rocket speed, May, June, July. But it's too far when it comes to the kind of suffering India is seeing right now. Yeah, he's just one guy. And what you've done now is liberalize the vaccine and said, okay, everybody can go buy it. But there's only one guy. But it's a typical Indian way. 50 people want to eat, put food for 10 people and say, come on, fight amongst yourselves.
Well, I will tell you that for those who think this is not about governance, there's one collector in a district in Maharashtra who just spent 85 lakh rupees building an oxygen plant in his district in Nandurbar. It's a tribal district. And just from that, Chetan, you must look up his story. He was able to change what happened in his district. Finally, I want to ask you a little bit about the IPL. I know it's not the most important conversation before us, but we are talking on a day when it has been suspended indefinitely. There was a lot of debate. Some people said it was release for a country. Other people said anyone who saw it as release did not see what people, had obviously not experienced death and devastation themselves. How do you, and I know you follow the cricket, how do you see the suspension of the IPL?
Well, firstly, what is important is to see why it was suspended, not because of some moral issue. It was suspended because the bubble burst.
Yeah.
It was suspended, which to me tells you that no matter how hard you try, because I'm sure they had the best of ways to keep the players isolated and everything. No matter how hard you try, this virus is strong and it penetrates the, whatever bubble you make. So I think that is the lesson here, that it didn't work even for them. They are suspending it because they don't want to take the liability of something happening, something very bad happening to the players. So that's why they're suspending it. Should they have suspended it before? Because, it's a judgment call. I mean, IPL is not a Olympics. I mean, it's not like a national level competition. Its primary purpose is entertainment.
I think the sense was that it wasn't acknowledging the collective grief, that was unfolding.
Because it's live. I mean, you've not suspended Netflix and you've not suspended like all the entertainment platforms and music channels. But I think when something is happening live, and it's weird. I mean, even if it's my team, firstly, IPL, I'm not a very IPL team loyalist kind of guy. But even if you have your own favorite team, will you feel like clapping right now if they hit a six? I mean, are you in that mahal hai kya abhi? So I don't know. I maybe some people will, I don't know, but I can't. I've never felt this way in my entire life. I'm a very upbeat person. It's so hard to just kind of tell yourself, okay, live through today, be normal, not feel guilt for some reason. I don't know why I am feeling guilty, but I do.
Yeah, there's survivor's guilt. I think a lot of us, I mean, even who've lost people, are feeling like maybe our lives could have been taken to save some lives. There is a survivor's guilt or a sense of one's privilege. Chetan, you follow politics. You are a keen observer of politics. You have been, as you said, somewhat of a supporter of this government at times, a critic when needed. When you see the messaging that they're running on this, not just the election rallies, you've spoken about that, or the Kumbh Melas, but that we even now see reports of the Central Vista project in the capital being treated as essential activity. Yesterday, media was full of reports that the Vice President and the Prime Minister's new abode is being completed. This is a government, if it didn't know how to do anything else, it was a spectacular set of communicators. What has gone wrong or is it just some of us who think that they're either being advised wrong or they're powering through this with the sense that as long as we don't have to pay at the hustings, there is no other price to pay.
Bottom line is life in India has always been cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like some other countries. Indian citizens' life has been cheap. The upper middle class's life has been worth a little bit more. And that is why we are seeing a lot of media coverage around it. But life is generally cheap. I don't, Barkha, like symbolism in either direction. So
Yeah.
symbolism of showing that, okay, we have our own vaccine, but when we don't, deep down, we know we don't even have enough to cover 1% of India is not right. Similarly, the opposite symbolism. Oh, we're going to stop this project. We're going to stop. It's irrelevant. I mean, then what do I do? Right? If you don't order the vaccine, but let's say you stop certain projects or you show that, okay, this is not the time to do it. Will that make the government suddenly okay?
You're saying it wouldn't have mattered if the vaccines were here.
Just make whatever. Yeah, okay.
You're saying if the vaccines were here, nobody would have given a shit about the Central Vista. Chalne do.
I mean, yeah, a lot of projects keep going on, and which now that you look at it, it may look like, "Arey, ye kyun kar rahe hain? Ye kyun kar rahe hain? Ye kyun kar rahe hain?" Maybe they were building some auditorium somewhere. I don't know. Some things that were beautification of a river bank is happening somewhere, and Central Vista is happening. Fine. What if they stop it? Do things become okay? No. So that will also count as symbolism today. So for me, the time is to make, I want through your platform to tell people like, let's put pressure to say we need the vaccine. Suck it up, pay up, cajole, negotiate, use your diplomatic skills, use the charm, and get vaccines for Indians so that we can live. I mean, is that hard to understand?
Have you had the jab?
One, yes.
And has it been tough to get the second one, or you're not scheduled for it yet?
Not scheduled for it yet. First time, good to be over 45.
But I will tell you, the scary thing is a lot of elderly people have not been able to get their second dose, and that is actually how serious it is. Chetan,
the numbers are in front of us, right?
Yeah,
the numbers are. I mean, it's number. If you need 200 crores and you have 5, 10, or 20, it sounds like a lot, 10, 20 crores. But if you need 200, I mean, somebody's going to run out somewhere. So, and that's going to happen even more now.
Last thoughts as we close.
I don't know. I just pray for everyone. I think people who are tending to sick people, I just want to tell those people that it's really difficult, and just take it one day at a time. Just take it one day at a time. Don't think ahead. Don't think ye kab theek hoga. Don't think kya hai, what have I done right, what have I done wrong. Just live through it one day at a time, and we will keep trying, and we will make sure that ultimately, I know that when you say something sensible, it's very hard to ignore that. It's very hard to outroll sense.
Yeah.
And that will, so deep down they know. Maybe it's not hit their families yet, so they are still finding it very comfortable to troll. But boss, the day it happens to someone in your family, that's when you'll know that, the guy was making sense. But yeah, just take it one day at a time, guys.
Thank you, Chetan, for calling a spade a spade, and for being blunt, and for always speaking your mind, irrespective of whether this camp or that camp likes you. It's important at these times, and you're absolutely right. When the news comes home, as it has for so many of us, at a really personal level, that's when you realize that all this trollbazi is completely irrelevant. And I think you remind us, believe in the science. When you lose track of the science, when you lose track of the numbers, when you get caught in the politics and the rhetoric and the left wing versus the right wing, that's when you get caught in the crap. None of that matters. All that matters is facts, science, and data. Chetan, Bhagat, pleasure having you on the program. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Take care. Take care.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.